Hi-ho, Tudor-minded people. It's Philadelphia Carey for Tudor Time Machine. The word I share with you this week is privy. This is a most versatile word. I might use it to refer to a friend I can trust, as in my privy. I might use it to refer to Her Majesty's most important lady-in-waiting, the chief gentlewoman of the Privy Chamber. I might use it to remind my privy not to share a secret I have told her, as in, no one else should be privy to what I have just disclosed to thee. Or I might use it to refer to something done in private, such as, I meet my amour in privy. Or it might refer to Her Majesty's most esteemed councillors, as in the Privy Council. It also might refer to Her Majesty's privy purse, that which she uses to pay her household, such as humble moi.
Privy. How now, Tudor Files? Well, thank you. If you're new here, I'm Gage.
I'm Jessica.
And we are here with Philadelphia Carey for Tudor Word of the Week.
Don't miss a word and listen to the Tudor Time Machine Story Project. Jessica reads a chapter of Time's Fiddle, and then my dear friends discuss the history behind the mystery. How diverting. So subscribe on YouTube and give me a like.
Thank you so much for listening. We've had so many new downloads. Tudor Files are an amazing bunch of people. Every one of you has the wit of Rosalind and the heart of Cordelia. Can you give us the spelling of the word privy, Philadelphia?
It is spelled Privy. Privy.
Now we think of this word mainly as being privy to some kind of information.
And as a word that was formerly used for a toilet or outhouse. And having that use in mind can make some of the uses that Philadelphia shared sound very weird to modern ears. Like a privy purse is not a purse to use as a toilet.
And a privy council is not a group of people who sit in the privy with you and advise you while you relieve yourself.
Oh dear, how strange you are, my friends. We use the term low stool or jakes.
A close stool is a very fancy seat over a box-like thing that would hold the chamber pot. And in the 16th century, close stools were made of padded velvet for high-ranking people.
A jakes was a more communal toilet and not nearly as fancy as a nice close stool.
Our use of privy comes from a play by the playwright Thomas Dekker, who was probably born in London around 1572.
So historians don't really know much about his early life. Like Shakespeare, he didn't attend university, and like Shakespeare, he almost certainly had a good grammar school education that gave him a solid grounding in Latin.
He began writing plays in the mid-1590s, and I read that he probably collaborated on as many as 40 plays, mainly for the theater impresario Philip Henslowe.
So Henslowe ran the Admiral's Men, who under James I became Prince Henry's men. And that company was Shakespeare's biggest rivals.
Dekker was involved in the War of the Theater, which we've talked about in other episodes.
It was a sparkling rivalry between many of our best playwrights, when each side wrote satirical plays about the others. Master Ben Jonson and Master Dekker traded insults in their work. Master Jonson called Master Dekker a dresser of plays about town.
Basically meaning that Dekker was a hack who just dressed up other people's work.
The War of the Theatres came to an end in 1603 when Her Majesty died and King James came to the throne.
Ben Jonson and Dekker patched things up and they collaborated on the celebrations for James I's coronations.
Yet Master Dekker was unfortunate. He was a terrible spendthrift.
Which sounds like he might have been thrifty in his spending, but actually it means the opposite, that he was terrible with money and was always in debt.
Yes, in 1599 he was imprisoned in the Poultry Compter,
which was not a home for chickens, but a jail that happened to be in a neighborhood where poultry was sold.
That's right. And later in his life, Dekker was again imprisoned for debt, this time in the less confusingly named King's Bench prison.
And apparently he was in the King's Bench for 7 years. But despite his financial worries, he wrote comedies.
The funniest of his plays is surely The Shoemaker's Holiday. Oh, it is diverting. It was performed at court for Her Majesty, and how we all laughed. Her Majesty enjoyed it lustily.
This play is what we would now call a city comedy, and most of the action takes place among the shoemakers of London. Lacey, an aristocrat, pretends to be one of these shoemakers, changing his class, so that he can gain access to Rose, the, I guess, common woman that he loves.
I laughed most at the part of Simon Eyre. He is the jolly, hearty master of the shoemakers, and at the end of the play he is rewarded for his fine temper by being made the Lord Mayor of London.
Simon Eyre is a great character, and our use of privy comes from one of his speeches. He's speaking to his wife, Marjorie. What does he say, Philadelphia?
He says, "Peace, Marjorie, peace. Where's Cecily Bum Trinket, your maid? She has a privy fault. She farts in her sleep. Call the queen up. If my men want shoe thread, I'll swing her up in a stirrup."
Cecily Bum Trinket is quite a name. The Shoemaker's Holiday was a huge hit. So here, Dekker is using privy in the sense of private. Queen here, which is spelled Quean, means an ill-behaved woman.
Queen Elizabeth is not a Quean queen.
No, Elizabeth was a serious and thoughtful monarch. In fact, here is part of the speech she gave in 1558, just as she took the throne. She's addressing the men who will make the most important circle of her advisors. And what does she say, Philadelphia?
She said, "I give you this charge, that you shall be of my privy council, and content yourself to take pains for me and my realm. This judgment I have of you, that you will not be corrupted with any manner of gift, and that you will be favourable to the state, and that, without respect of my private will, you will give me that counsel that you think best."
That's a very idealistic speech. I admire that speech. Simon Eyre and Queen Elizabeth both use the word privy, but one is in a comic speech and one is in a serious address.
As I said, it is a most useful mot. So give heed, Tudorphiles. Bring some 16th century sauce to your vocabulary with privy. It is not only a toilet. Listen in next time. Don't miss a word. Subscribe on YouTube and give me a like.